Hi guys, so I was looking through some older videos of Dana's, and this was a live that she had probably 6 years ago, full of really good information and valid today. So I thought I'd take it and put it in the front of the YouTube channel, and I made it into two videos. I hope you like it and join the conversation.
All right, you guys. So if you don't know me, I am Dana Lee. I'm the founder of RealFit.tv, and I'm the creator of the Real Fit Mindset course. And more importantly, I help women in a mentorship program basically take them from feeling obsessed about food and stressed out and hating on themselves into freedom. So I'm an expert in this, and more recently, I've really been put to the test about this. Is it possible to feel stressed and not stress eat? So recently I lost a major contract. So some of you know that, yes, part of what I do is I run and manage RealFit.tv, and like I just said, and then the other part of my career is I'm a corporate wellness coach, and I've held two major contracts for about 6 or 7 years now, and one of the contracts ended. And this was a major contract for me, not just financially, but also that these are people, my clients, that I have gotten to know so well at such a deeper level, seeing them 2 times a week for the past 6 years and more, because we would do outside corporate events and things like that. So we all got notified that the entire program was getting the plug. It was just getting pulled. It was cut. So this was incredibly heartbreaking for me on many levels. So I spent the last few weeks navigating this stressful situation, right? So what I want to share with you guys today is, now in retrospect, I'm like, yeah, I really have come far because I was through this very challenging time and I didn't look to food to cope. And when I really looked at it, there were 4 major things that I did that are different today than how I would have approached something like this in the past. And I want to go over those with you so that way you have insight into your own life, your own behaviors, how you use food to cope and feel better. And you can therefore take these things and absolutely apply them and change your behaviors around using food and how you feel about stress. Or, good news, I'm opening up my mentorship program so I can help guide you through some of these major things. These are foundations. These are things that I live by and I have put together in a certain sequence in my mentorship program to help women who are sick of trying to figure this shit out on their own. Okay, so stay tuned. I'll give you more details about that at the end, towards the end of the video. So for now, let's just jump into the goods, and one a little bit later. So, okay, 4 things. So I'm going to go over the 4 things, and then I'm going to go back and kind of go into the 4 things in greater detail, just so you have an idea of where we're going. All right, so the first thing is now this is something I worked on a little while ago, but I created a picture of what my normal would look like. Like, I got clear on what that would be. And I asked myself some specific questions to actually get into the mindset and the vision of, like, what does my life even look like, right? So that's the first thing. I knew what my normal would look like, okay? My normal is without stress eating, right? So number 2 is I got up the courage to start speaking my truth. So I learned that part of my emotional and stress eating had to do with literally stuffing my mouth because I was stuffing down the ability for me to speak out and express myself. So there was a very strong correlation between those 2 things. So number 2 was I spoke my truth. Number 3 was I adopted an entirely different way of thinking about food. I broke free as a fitness professional and a nutrition coach in my industry. I broke free of the mainstream teaching around diet, and I adopted a brand new way of looking at food, and I call it my food is food lifestyle. I leveled the playing field where there was no good food and no bad food. I was not a good person or a bad person for choosing the food that I ate. So I wouldn't judge myself and be so hard on myself, which just perpetuates the stress eating cycle. So I adopted the food is food lifestyle. And number 4, the final one, and this one is definitely a writer downer. This is expect nothing and appreciate everything. So setting up expectations and looking forward to something that might or might not happen is a way to set myself up for failure. So instead, I really started living a life of gratitude. Gratitude for what is. Look at all the good and the awesomeness that is my life right now. And instead of focusing on all the shitty and I don't want this and the negative that, instead I redirected and started really appreciating what was in my life. So yeah, Terry said I like number 4. Me too. So if you want to type that in, it's expect nothing and appreciate everything. So that is a mantra that I live by now. Okay, so let's circle back around and let's go into each of those 4 in greater detail. And again, feel free to take notes. Feel free to type in the video if you feel like you want your own reinforcement. That would be beneficial not only for yourself but also to our other viewers. Okay, so let's go back to number 1. I created a picture of what my new normal would look like. And here are the questions that I asked myself. They're not easy questions, and I was blocked about seeing my future for a very long time, and I did the work anyway. So my questions were, who are you without food issues? Who are you without food issues? I had to really get into that headspace and the vision. What would my life look like? My life was so obsessed and revolved around food and tracking food and calories and, eating every couple hours and buying into all the diet dogma bullshit that only created more obsession in my life and created more stress about the eating. So in a stressful situation, I would just perpetuate the stress because I was stressed out about food and feeling bad about myself. So how do you get out of it? Well, you got to start by even being able to picture your life without the problem. Okay, so you got to answer the question, who am I without food issues? What does my life look like? Okay, you got to get clear on that. And I'm not saying that it's easy work. That is exactly why I said, stay tuned if you feel like you can't do this work by yourself, because I can help you through it, and so can other women who've been through my mentorship program and would be happy to help guide you. So you're not in it alone. So being able to answer that, what does my life even look like? But really understand that, do you see how it's difficult to come out of it if you don't have the picture of where you want to go? Right? You want to begin with the end in mind. So instead of getting wrapped up in, I'm so stressed and I'm stress eating and that's my problem and I just need food tactics to fix my stress eating. Whoa. Let's take a major step back, like a few steps back, and look at a bigger picture that is your life. And what would your life look like without that problem? Like so freeing, right? Like so incredibly freeing. And I'm telling you right now, because I'm on the other side of it, it is freeing. It's a fucking awesome way to live. Like I don't think about food. Like I'm going hiking today and I'm throwing a few snacks in my backpack, but I'm not like, oh my God, where are we going to stop and eat? Am I going to have enough to eat? La, 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 la. None of that anymore. I'm like, maybe I'll be hungry, maybe I won't. And it is so much easier to live that way. Okay, so that's your number 1, answering a couple of tough questions for yourself, but you want to begin with the end in mind so you can even be able to picture yourself without the eating issues, without experiencing the stress. All right, so moving on to number 2. I spoke my truth. Okay, you guys, this one of the most difficult things that I had to work on. It's not like I woke up one day and I was like, bam, I'm just going to speak my truth and plow over everyone and that's going to free me of my food problems. No. So the truth is, it is a work in progress, and that you've got to be willing to suck at it. You have to be willing to be like, I'm not going to know what to say. I don't know if I can articulate my feelings in the right way. And you still have to be able to do that, because I'm telling you, there is such a strong correlation between you hiding the truth of who you are and your food dilemmas. There is a really strong correlation between those two things. So can you see how just following the next diet or the keto plan or intermittent fasting or whatever the fuck is out there just distracting you, that's not helping you speak your truth about who you are, what you believe, and what you really want in your life. So this is a kind of circling back to number one, in that in order for you to speak your truth, you have to know what you really want in your life. Like, what is your normal? What is the thing that I really identify with, and what do I want in my life? So when you're able to get clear on that, then the work begins where it's time to articulate it. It's time to, and this is without plowing down other people. It's not about getting defensive or making anyone else feel bad. It's about learning communication skills. Like, honestly, that's really what it's about, is how can you better express yourself in a way that is effective, and you can let go of how other people are going to feel or how they're going to respond. And it's not your responsibility. What is your responsibility is how you speak your truth and what is in your belief system, your morals, your values. When I started doing this, it was like a lot of my food issues sort of like dissolved, and I wasn't even aware. I say this to my clients all the time. We expect it to be like a big aha moment of all of a sudden we're going to wake up and we're not going to have any food issues or issues with relationship with our food. And that's not really how it works. How it works is it's a little bit over time and a little bit of letting go and a little bit more over time. And then one day, an event like I just shared, I lost a major contract. One day, something's going to happen, and you're going to look back like, oh shit, look at that. I didn't even use food for that. It's more of like a hindsight's 2020 or a retrospect kind of a thing. While you're in it, you're just navigating and living your life. So a lot of the things I'm sharing with you have become an autopilot thing. It's like a way of being. It's been a way of being for me. Okay. So it takes time. And I just want to encourage you to find compassion for yourself and sympathy for yourself. And just know that if you are stress eating and emotional eating, it's a way for you to take care of yourself. Like, it's the best thing you know right now to help yourself feel better. And if you just look at that, it's like a nurturing thing. If you're not, so I honestly commend you for that you're seeking a way to nurture and take care of yourself. Okay. So I just want to share that because that's really, really important that we find compassion while we start to navigate some of this stuff. So I know that speaking your truth isn't necessarily an easy thing. So what I had to do over the last few weeks is I've had to have some really difficult conversations with quite a few people for all different reasons, just navigating a transition in my life. I was scared and I had the conversations anyway. And what I will say is that was why I felt less of a need to seek food to feel better, because I was able to have an outlet for like, this is really the problem in my life. Let me deal directly with the problem instead of making food the problem and kind of like procrastinating and pushing off. And again, I'm saying this with incredible love and lots of compassion for you, for that's your coping mechanism right now. And I get that because I did that for many, many years. So it's not to judge you for it. It's not to make you feel bad for it. It's just to shine light on it. So if we can shine some light on it and in a space, and again, this is why I'm going to share more about my mentorship program, can you be in a space where you're not afraid to speak your truth? It's not going to be with a friend or a family member who may know you to be a certain way, and maybe you feel differently. So it's important to have a group of people where you can truly say what you need to say and get the practice work in. So then if you release it and then you share it with the people who really need to hear it, or you feel compelled to share it with those people, you're going to have more courage to do it. And therefore, the side effect is I don't need food as much to make me feel better. Okay, so anything else you want to share about speaking your truth? Or, are there some things? So something I want to know from you. Do you know deep down there's probably a conversation you need to have, or you need to be honest with yourself about a certain area of your life? and you're avoiding it. So I want to know, give me a thumbs up, give me a possibly, and if you're afraid to say, that's okay too.